on paper, it's like, oh, if they don't pay, you can just take the house, right? But in real life, it doesn't work like that. And especially in, judicial foreclosure states where the process could take years, multiple years, taxes are due, insurance is due. Typically, if you have a foreclosure case, it's not like the borrower just wipes their hands clean and says, okay, yeah, no problem, just take my property. They'll go and they'll try to sue you, and then you got to contest your foreclosure case. The problem is that takes, managing a default or a bad deal takes 10x, 20x, 100 times the amount of work and effort and brain power than a performing deal. So having a deal here and there that goes bad is no problem. But as you grow percentage-wise, you're going to continue to have more and more and more defaults. So anybody can learn their way through one default. But then if you're a small operator and you just grow really, really quick and you have like 10 defaults going at a time, it's a nightmare.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil, and today I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Jason Balin, who is a real estate private lender based in Maryland. So excited to have you here today, Jason.
Thanks, Michelle. Looking forward to it.
Of course, I think our listeners are going to take something away from how you're approaching lending through all of your real estate and market knowledge. So let's dive in.
Absolutely.
First off, for those who are not familiar with you and your work yet, can you share what your main focus is these days?
Yeah, so I've been running a private lending, hard money lending company over the last 20 years in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. We cover a lot of East Coast markets, and that's my focus 365 days a year, is deploying capital responsibly to local real estate investors that are fixing and flipping houses and buying rental properties and buying commercial properties, and just opportunistic kind of every day to try to find deals that make sense for us to deploy capital on. And, over time, we've also created a community of other private and hard money lenders that want to kind of grow and learn together so they can responsibly also deploy their money in, numerous different markets throughout the country.
Awesome. And when you say local real estate people, are you only serving like people in your local area?
Yeah, I mean, when I say local real estate, I mean more like the assets are local. There's a lot of real estate investors that might be living in other parts of the country that are investing in, Northern Virginia or Washington, D.C. or Baltimore, Philadelphia, New Jersey, South Carolina, North Carolina, things like that. But yeah, local assets. I mean, this isn't always the most popular conversation when I say it, but I believe real estate's a very localized business model. So we like to only lend in areas that we're comfortable with, that is local. And I personally think it's challenging to lend or invest in areas in different parts of the country. And I know that a lot of folks would disagree with that. But what's worked best for us over the last 20 years is sticking to assets that are local to us and in areas that we're very comfortable with.
Yeah, that makes sense. How did you become a lender?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So, back up 19 plus years ago when we started Hard Money Bankers, which was 2007. A few years prior to that, I was doing some more, I was working as a mortgage broker and I was doing some loans. And I will never forget that I was doing some loans and I brought this deal to my boss at the time, who ran the mortgage company. And I was like, I don't know why we can't get this deal through. We got nobody that's going to buy this paper from us. Seems like a really good opportunity, a really good deal. But, we keep getting turned down. And he looked at me and he said, let me see that deal. Okay. The borrower's putting down 50%. Yeah. His credit's a little bit on the lower side. We'll fund that deal in-house. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, I'll put up the capital and I'll lend him the money and, we'll service the loan and it'll be on our books. I was like, that's something you can do? And he's like, absolutely. We can just do it on the private, I can be the investor, the private lender. I can be the Bank of America or the Wells Fargo. So that was a big aha moment for me. And I was like, oh, wow, anyone can be a lender. And then, a few years had gone by and we were owning some real estate. I was fixing and flipping some houses. And I realized it's like, wait a second, I'm doing all this heavy lifting, fixing and flipping houses. And the lender that I borrowed money from, if we fail or we succeed, he's still making the same amount of money. And between those kind of two things occurring, I was like, I want to be on the lending side of the transaction, not necessarily the sponsor or the operator or the flipper of real estate. I want to be the lender and, control the capital. And, that's what we've done.
Awesome. What has been maybe some of the biggest challenge or obstacle that you've faced as a lender? And now, looking back in hindsight, you can kind of see what you learned from that.
Yeah. I think as a real estate investor, business owner, entrepreneur, lender, you're learning every day and things are changing every day. And I think a big mistake that a lot of lenders and real estate investors fall into the trap of doing too much too quick, and they don't see deals through the full cycle. So it's like, oh, I did this one deal and I made a lot of money. I'm just going to go do 5 net deals or 6 deals or 7 deals. And what a business looks like 10 deals at a time compared to 1 deal at a time or 2 deals at a time is very, 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 very different. So we've fallen in that trap several times over our career where we had to kind of be careful about growing too fast because we weren't really set up for it. And I remember, we called them different seasons in our business where we were kind of in a growth season where it's like, hey, we're very well capitalized. We have infrastructure in place. Let's go grow, 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 grow. And then we get to a point a year later and we're like, hey, listen, let's ratchet this down a little bit. We don't have the infrastructure in place. And then we're kind of at a status quo season to try to put, the right people in place, the right software in place, making sure we have the right capital partners and things like that in place. And then we can go and grow even more. But I think it's important to just see deals cycle through. You got to see things happen. And if you're a newer lender, you've never even seen a default yet or a foreclosure yet. And believe me, it looks a lot different in real life than it seems like on paper. On paper, it's like, oh, if they don't pay, you can just take the house. Right. But in real life, it doesn't work like that. And especially in judicial foreclosure states where the process could take years, multiple years, taxes are due, insurance is due. Typically, if you have a foreclosure case, it's not like the borrower just wipes their hands clean and says, okay, yeah, no problem, just take my property. They'll go and they'll try to sue you. And then you got to contest your foreclosure case. So there's a lot of different things, and having defaults or having bad deals is inevitable, right? You can be the best lender, you can be the best real estate investor. You're always going to have bad deals on your books. That's no problem. The problem is that takes managing a default or a bad deal takes 10x, 20x, 100 times the amount of work and effort and brain power than a performing deal. So having a deal here and there that goes bad is no problem. But as you grow, percentage-wise, you're going to continue to have more and more and more defaults. And you're just not going to be set up to do that unless you do it in a responsible, timely manner. So anybody can learn their way through one default. But then if you're a small operator and you just grow really, really quick and you have like 10 defaults going at a time, it's a nightmare. So we've learned that slow and steady wins the race, and all of this doesn't have to happen overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. Yeah, especially when you're here for like long term, you have to be in it for that vision.
Absolutely.
What are some of the main keys that you feel made the biggest difference in allowing your business to be able to grow and run successfully?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So I would say that the biggest thing that we had that we subconsciously figured out early on, this was luck because I don't think we realized this, was to create a marketing machine. And if you have a marketing machine and you have deal flow coming in all the time, and obviously it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money in order to create an ongoing marketing machine. But if you constantly have deal flow coming in on a regular basis, it's very, very difficult to fail, because you're always going to have opportunities. And too many real estate investors and lenders just aren't marketing enough. They don't have enough deal flow. And when you don't have deal flow, you do bad deals. And, if you got to have opportunities that are just coming in endlessly over and over and over and over and over. And I think the lenders, the real estate investors that have a big marketing machine, you're not going to be able to beat them. Like, they're just going to have success, a lot more success. And in the lending space, big limited belief that a lot of lenders have is, well, I'm not ready to do marketing because I don't have enough capital to do the current deals that I'm doing already. And then my response to that is, well, you'll just do better deals then. Because if you get 10 deals a month and have to close a few deals, or 10 leads a month and have to close a few deals, and I get 1,000 leads a month and have to close a few deals, whose deals are going to be better? We're still outlaying the same amount of capital every month, but my deals are just going to be better. It's a fact, because I have so many more leads and opportunities to cherry pick than you would.
Definitely. And what do you feel has gotten you the success in getting all those leads?
I think it's been motivating because we saw success with it early on. We saw of, hey, listen, if we go to a lot of meetup and RIA groups, I mean, they're meetups now. Back in the day, they were all RIAs. They didn't really have meetup, but we'd go to RIA meetup groups, we'd go to auctions, we'd go meet with brokers, real estate investors. We'd do, pay-per-click advertisement, social media advertisement, YouTube videos. Like, we would just do all the heavy lifting and we would see it come in. And, over time, it feels overwhelming at the beginning, but over time, it ends up being just second nature and a habit. And because of that, it ends up working out.
Awesome. And what are you most focusing now when it comes to solving or scaling to the next thing in your business?
So marketing and automation has always been a very big thing that we do internally. And that is, to this day, we're still doing that. And I put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money continuously into more marketing efforts and into more automation efforts. We onboarded new CRM through Go High Level this past year, and I've used lots of different CRMs over the years, and that was finally at a place where it was ready for us to kind of implement. But a lot of automation and a lot of marketing over and over and over is what we've continued to focus on, and we have focused on that for a long time. And I know I keep reiterating that, but that's how important it is. And those are things that we're continuing to stay focused on, because understanding and learning real estate investing or wholesaling or lending, like, it's not brain surgery. It's not that challenging. Anybody can understand it. And, if you're doing it at a slow enough pace at the beginning, you're going to learn it. And as you continue to grow, you're going to continue to learn hands-on. So there's not all that innovative stuff related to the actual keystrokes of doing a transaction. The important part is making sure you have deal flow for transactions, making sure you have capital for transactions, making sure you have the proper vendors to help you with the transactions.
Definitely. And I saw that you run a mastermind for lenders. Can you expand on what that looks like?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
We do. About 8 or 10 years ago, we had a private lender that was in a market a few hours from us, and he reached out to us and he was like, "Hey, I've got a lot of money on the streets deployed into loans, and I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm nervous. Can you guys teach me everything that you know about lending?" And we're like, "Well, we're not really set up to do that." He's like, "Name your price, and and I'll come to you, and I'd love it if you can spend a day or two to me and teach me." So we named the price that was the big enough price tag that it was worth our while, which looking back wasn't nearly as expensive as it should have been. And we spent 2 days with him, and we're like, wow, this guy's like a really perceived successful lender. He's got a lot of money, and he's done a lot of deals, and he's missing so many important things because this stuff isn't taught, and it's not all that readily available about how to become your own hard money lender, how to lend money privately. There's a lot of subsectors about that, but not really running a full service hard money lending company. So we started doing some content and some videos, and we started getting tons and tons and tons of subscribers and followers, and people were like, "Hey, you guys should start a group." So we started a mastermind group called the Hard Money Mastermind about eight years ago, and it's literally just us talking about stuff that happens inside our office every day. Case studies, defaults, where we're finding deals, raising capital, everything. And we grew a community of almost 3,000 lenders throughout the country. And, it turned into an online and an offline mastermind group.
Awesome. What do you feel are some of the biggest, maybe like mistakes that people make when they're starting off and that you like support them through as you teach them in this mastermind?
Yeah, it's a good question because a lot of people make a lot of mistakes early on, and most of them are related to lending too high a leverage and really understanding how to underwrite a borrower. They believe that some one-off private lenders think that they need to compete with Kiavi or gigantic institutional backed lenders who have billions and billions of dollars. And this lender might only have $5 million to deploy. And if you do one bad deal, you could be out of business. They're trying to compete with the big boys, and it's a completely different type of game. It's a different game. A lot of the mistakes can be overcome by creating a proper marketing machine, stuff that I've been talking about, the last 20 minutes, and having deal flow, because a lot of them don't have enough deal flow, and they have their buddy that says, "Hey, I flipped a few properties before, with a private guy. I'd like to use you." And, they want 100% financing and very inexpensive fees and rate and points. And that's just a recipe disaster waiting to happen. Any market correction, something happens and you're losing money. And a lot of lenders are scared to not do high leverage deals because they're afraid they're not going to be able to get any deal flow. And instead they need to focus on finding opportunities and marketing for deals, and good things will happen.
Yeah. Is there any strategy you have for people that are like struggling to find those opportunities and are maybe stuck in that stage?
So the lowest hanging fruit is the no cost boots on the ground business development, going to meetup groups all the time, raising your hand and saying, "Hey, I've got private capital. There's 100 people in a room." And I recognize because the rebut that most people has is, "I don't want to waste an hour or 2 hours going to a meetup group where the majority of the people in there are never going to do a deal." And they're right. 80% of that room might not do any deal, but 15% of them probably will. And 5% of them, which might be a few people, probably are really good borrowers that you could potentially create a relationship and work with. So I like to stick to very inexpensive or free marketing, advertising, business development at the beginning. Surround yourselves in areas that other real estate investors are in, which is meetup groups and RIA groups, and going to auctions and going to real estate agents' offices and mortgage brokers' offices, building brands on social media and creating content for real estate investors. All things that are free or very inexpensive to start with. after you do all that, like you will be able to do a few deals a month as a lender just based on that heavy lifting. After you get to that, then you can start introducing paid ads and things that, you really do want to spend, money behind.
Awesome. That makes sense. What are you most excited about for this new year when it comes to any changes in your business?
I mean, I've been excited for a long time to see what happens with the shakeup of institutional capital. I think for fix and flip lenders, they're going to hold on to the institutional capital deals, loans that they can get from them just because they're cheaper and they have higher leverage for as long as they can. But as the markets, shake up, as the markets change, as certain areas, the properties stay in the market longer and longer and longer, institutional lenders are probably going to be a little bit more conservative on stuff. They might decide to not be in the business at long. They might say, you know what, I'm only going to do DSCR loans. I'm not going to do fix and flip stuff anymore. And we don't mess with the DSCR loans because we're doing short-term stuff for the fix and flippers and kind of the one-off opportunistic types of deals. So it'll just help our market share. And, we're very well capitalized and set up for that to happen. And we have been for a long period of time. So I think 2026 will be a spot where there's a lot of shakeup for real estate investors. And I do truly believe that there's still a lot of opportunities out there, good opportunities out there, because I see them. I see real estate investors bringing me deals every day. I'm like, wow, that's a really good deal that you just got under contract. So it's there. And I also think that during market shakeups, the strong survive. The best real estate investors stay in the game. And the ones that, are just do this as a hobby or just, use the local MLS as their only acquisition strategy are going to suffer. And it weeds out the good and the bad. So I think market shakeups aren't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So before we wrap up here, if somebody wants to reach out, connect, learn more, where can people find you and connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm pretty easy to find, Jason, Google my name, Jason Balin, or type in hardmoneybankers.com. I mean, our lending company is hardmoneybankers.com. And then we run our podcast called the Private Lenders Podcast to help other aspiring or experienced hard money lenders and private lenders. Or you can just email me at jason@hardmoneybankers.com.
Perfect. Well, appreciate your time, your story, and your perspective. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome. And for the listeners tuning in, if you got value, make sure you've subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Jason who are building real businesses. We'll see you on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.